Hello everybody, welcome to the show. You are in for a treat. Behind me is water that is not frozen. So we're gonna get out here and we're gonna do some actual fishing, testing, maybe not fishing, I don't know how much we'll catch, but let me spin you around right here and show you. We're gonna use a truck, it's kind of our base camp. I'm just gonna walk around. If you're not familiar, we are at the test pond. But anyway, I've got kind of new, I've not been out on the water with this, so we're going to test out this combo, our ultralight combo. Then I also brought out our new Curado BFS, our light combo. I'm going to try it out. I don't think I've actually cast this rod. The Toma tip I have, but not on this rod handle setup. So I'm going to come out here and we're going to start. I'll probably split this up into two videos. So you'll probably see me in one video talking about our ultralight setup. But in all today, I want to get tested this rod and reel combo in the ultralight class, this rod and reel combo in the light class, or general all-around BFS. And then I also want to get out and try a few new baits. You can't make it out, but I've got the other chartreuse and white, that new little chatterbait rigged up on the light, on the Curado setup. I also might throw the Doctor at some point. I'm going to try to catch a fish, so I'm going to start with that bait. If you remember right from the end of last year, Forever Fall Bite, that was our most productive bait. Doctor caught some. This little chatterbait here caught some also. So I'm going to try to come out first and catch fish. Then we're going to also be doing some little kind of just seeing how low, how well this casts this, and how high. We're starting off right off the bat. We'll see how high, because I do plan on throwing 6 grams with most of my ultralight setups, and we're going to see if this little guy, which is one of my lightest, but if the 522 SUL can handle it, that guy should too, right? So anyway, buckle up, hang on, I'm gonna put you on the chesty and we'll get one of these combos going. All right, we're gonna start with this guy right here. Let's get out here and see what this will do. Now I'm gonna come out here and just to show you how close we are to the water, I'm gonna lock the doors and we're gonna start with this bait and this bait only. And this is how close we are. I have to figure out how to adjust the GoPro. I'm just going to make a few casts. Definitely handles it, no problem. Now, if you remember right, we were actually catching fish by doing a... Now, I'm going to need to... This is grown up from... I don't think I've been here for a year or so. Last time I was here, you could actually walk along this edge, which is not a bad thing. It may mean that nobody's really been down here fishing much. So we're going to walk down to the other end and try it. Actually, we're going to walk down along the dam. It looks like the most productive spot will be down there. What can I say? Dogs love me everywhere I go. All right, let's get over here somewhere where I can actually get some casts in. Oh, there's an old rod laying in the probably not worth grabbing. So let's just start it off right here, and the sun will probably be right in your guys' face. Sorry for that, but I can get some decent casts. And I'm kind of up, so I'll have to figure out, do I want to hold the rod tip up or down to let this crank just kind of maybe nick the bottom. And honestly, this is a perfect color to be throwing. I probably have to hold the rod up, because this water clarity is just about perfect for this color crank. Now, like I said, I don't know if we'll actually catch anything, but so far, this little, that's that bearing that came with this is the Curado BFS with the Curado, gosh, oh my God, Calcutta Conquest BFS with the chameleon spool and the bearing that came with it. I left on this one. They are definitely louder. I took the one off the Aldebaran BFS. I got the drag loose because this is only, I have a 6-pound leader, and this rod is really not rated for that, so the drag is kind of looser than it would have to be. But it's more like a set, the drag set for more like a 4-pound. So I may have to, you'll see me maybe horsing it here and there, and you'll hear it making the drag take off. Just get a little feel for it. As you can tell, the rod, I knew the reel would handle it, but the rod handles that 6 gram bait no problem. It's not too, I'm whipping it right on out there. And the plan isn't really for this bait, but the I think I'm going to try to get in the habit of using this rod like with some of my topwater baits that are only like those 4 to 6 grams of poppers, even the little micro whopper plopper. Now I'm just going to go real slow. Well, real slow didn't work. I'm hung up. Hang on. Hung up on a branch way over there. Oh my God, now it's stuck on that. Finally, we got it. And we didn't get wet. So check your line, the main thing. Check your hooks too, but check your line is the main deal. And where it was hooked on a hook. So the line didn't get anything happen to it. Double check all of your hook points. Still very sharp. Okay. While we're here, I'm gonna have to move from this spot just to get away from them dogs. So reeling slow did not work. All right, let's go try something else. Okay, although I have all the confidence in the world in that bait, it just may not be for right now. So we're continuing with this rod and reel combo. If it was clear water, I would have went with this, but I think if we stand a chance to get a bite, and I could try that also, but I'm gonna try this little bitty dude. It's bright, yet not like crazy, and it's pretty small. So I think we stand a chance to catch maybe a little fish. And we're gonna see kind of how low can this rod go and how good does it feel cast wise. So let's go throw that real quick. I believe that's a 16th ounce one. It's gonna weigh a little more, but basically 2 to less than 3 grams, probably 2 grams. Okay, let's get up here. They built this drain perfectly for us, so it goes out just enough to where we can get out here and catch a fish. And while we're creeping up, don't be afraid to just dangle right on the edge where you're at before you even walk all the way out. Don't be afraid to jig. Whatever bait you have, just kind of bounce it up and down right in front of you, right on the edge of the bank. Because a lot of times, if you didn't spook it walking up, there could be something right there. Okay, and I only have room for like a true overhead cast. Sidearm, I'm kind of having to this rod, I don't know if you guys can make out the tip. I don't know how it comes to the camera, but very sensitive. That little bitty chatterbait is shaking that rod tip real well. Almost the same way that a regular this is almost muddy water. Like I said, we're just kind of getting a test. We're not really setting out to fish. Let's just see. I'll do an overhead. I got room. That's probably 50 feet maybe. Now I got a trick up, well, not up my sleeve. I got a trick in my pocket just in case. I did not bring any soft plastic worms because I just kind of want to do casting and retrieving and all that kind of stuff. Whoa, that was almost a skip and I didn't even plan for it. But anytime you get out with your first time you're throwing a bait, a setup, especially everything, It's a good idea before you cast right up and against cover to get hung up, is to kind of get a feel for how it is and what your release point is, to be accurate enough to get right along the edge. These little flashbacks they work just like a regular, you know, chatterbait. They usually start right up. When you start reeling, they start moving. I think that's a good bait. I just don't think the water, like I said, is just thawed out. I don't have a way to tell the temp. I don't even want to touch it, tell you the truth. It's probably somewhere in the mid, I'd say somewhere in the mid 30s. All right, let me get one more cast with this, right? What could be a honey hole, but probably not. And then we're gonna go to the doctor. Oh, it hit something. Wasn't a bite, but I felt it hit, bounced off something. We're gonna go to the doctor. So this is a, well, one more. Okay, one more. I still think that this bait has it. I do not like that bearing. I'm gonna have to take this out and put the, you guys hear that noise? I'm gonna have to put the stock Shimano bearing back on. The ones that come with the Chameleon so far, I don't like them. I don't know, I guess I don't like the one in the, if you remember right, the Zillion either, but for sure the Aldebaran, I hated it, and I hate this one. And it just has an extra rattle clatter noise. Trying to go as slow as I can. I can still feel that blade coming through. Slight vibration, so it can go pretty slow. All right, let me switch to the trick up my sleeve that's early in my pocket, and hopefully it didn't get stuck in my pocket. And yes, the doctor is in the house. Let's just try this dude. Sometimes when all else fails, throw the doctor right. Now he doesn't really float, especially with those big hooks. He kind of suspends, sort of. Hopefully we don't lose this doctor. Now we're getting ready to just go. I do not like what I'm feeling. What is up with the doctor? Something didn't feel right. Oh, he just had a little bit of gunk on him, and man, I could tell like something was wrong. Hear that noise? That's annoying. I may need to go, I haven't really played with these brakes. I may need to go down. Okay, I'm going to do something before, because I haven't really even messed with it. I put this spool in, and I don't think I've even done much with it. So, hang on a second. I'm going to put this, the lightest bait I have anyway, back on, and I'm going to see if I can turn the brakes down any, because it almost feels like it can get further and it's not backlashing. So I'm going to go back to that dude. I didn't even really think about it. And we're going to come, we're not too halfway. Turn them brakes down just a little bit and watch it probably backlash, but nope, no backlash. So I threw kind of down. Let me bring that in again. Let's try this again. All right, let me not throw down. Okay, I think I can even come down just a touch more. But this is heavier than our little 1.7. I may have to just wait and fish it with it, and I may need to be low. I hit a, it didn't affect the cast luckily, but I caught just a tip of a branch or something on the back cast, so it's made me go, whoa. I thought it was gonna have it all out of whack. All right, well, I don't think anything is out here biting, but as you can tell, the reel, the rod, everything's working good. No issues with backlashing. May need a bigger chatterbait if we're gonna want a chatterbait to get hit today. And we're getting ready to go do that. We're throwing the little guy on this. We're getting ready to go try our other rod and reel combo. I guess I should have double checked. I didn't even double check, make sure my eyes are straight. I just assumed they were from the last time I put the rod together. Hopefully you can make out how far out it's getting. I could probably turn it down even further, but that's, I mean, like ideally here, this is a big enough body of water. I wouldn't really be fishing this setup. If I was using this rod, I'd be using bigger baits like that one I had out earlier. And maybe even a touch bigger chatterbait, but usually I'd go to a bigger rod. But like I definitely will be using this rod on, you know, with top waters out on waters like these. You take like the 4 gram, those Sonora poppers, those yeah, now I can kind of, hopefully you can kind of tell once I loosen that drag up, or the magnetic brakes up just a hair, I can kind of get a little more, I can throw it, whoa, a little more accurately, but not all the way. Nothing is hitting. And yeah, I added this thing. I had it from back when I had my kying rods, actually, I think. So what do you guys think? Pretty good setup. Getting out on the water. I may bring it back out again, but this may be it for this. All right. We're back with testing this little baby. Everything went perfectly fine. I love that. Just the way it works and feels, overall look of it, I love it. But it's almost too small of a setup for the even water this small, which isn't real small. Let's get this bad boy out, right? This chatterbait got a trailer on it. Now I got the other chatterbaits I'm probably going to take with me. I don't really need to try. I brought both of them because I didn't know what color I might want, but this should be the best color for as dirty as that water is, hopefully. So I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to take this one. That's the kind of a jackhammer imitation. There's only $2.50, so I will try it on this rod. It should be able to throw it no problem. Hook sets, could be a little bit of an issue. There's definitely a difference in the hooks. This hook, let me show you that real quick. This hook should not be a problem. It might be right on the borderline. That hook might be a little bit, but we're going to try it. We ain't going to get a bite anyway, probably today. And I may come back and throw, actually, let me take this guy. You guys remember him, right? I'm taking him because I get in a certain spot that looks too juicy. That may actually catch us a fish. I got 3 of my baits that has caught us cold water fish, but the water wasn't quite as cold as it is now. And it was still getting colder. Now it's been cold and it's starting to warm up a little bit. So sometimes that's different. But anyway, let's get out here and let's do it. All right, you guys know the new knob too. Now it's mismatched because it's still shiny, new. New cork always looks different than once you get a little bit older cork. This rod is fairly new, but I've actually handled and been test casting and doing different stuff, so it's got an older worn in look. Now this already feels like a load, so this is going to cast this, but it's definitely, I don't know about the next size up, but we're going to find out. it's a solid tip, light rod. So we're going to jump right back to where we were casting the Rainy Stream, which is a 5'3" ultralight. This is almost 6 foot light with a definitely a lot heavier bait. Now hopefully I don't snap this rod. Whoa, right off the bat, cast way too far and too hard and got hung up. But I think it came off because I can feel the blade churning. Actually, that looks very good. I'll try to show you guys here in a second. Yeah, this is my wheelhouse as far as this feels. It kind of feels like throwing a 1/2 ounce chatterbait on a, I guess, a medium action rod, one with a lot of gives, where you know you're going to have to yank hard if you get a hit. Can you guys make out that? See how that tail's just back there doing a little choo-choo? I like that tail, and this blade does not feel bad. Yeah, this should be a good alternate. I like that. I caught a chunk of wood there and it came right off of it. So these little, let's see, get a little long cast out there. These little chatterbaits we'll have to see. They may be good. They may suck. They feel good, but will they get hits? This Curado feels good, but you know, for your heavier into your BFS stuff, seeing if I like this knob or not too. It's one of those things where you just have to try it. And when you're dealing with you're at the limits of your rod, which I actually like being at. You notice I'm not leaving much slack in the line, and it helps you with your accuracy. Oh, was that a freaking? Did you guys see that rod jump? The tip jump? I don't know what happened. I was thinking in my head about, oh, I caught something. Look at this. I knew that felt like a fish. You guys see that scale? That's a carp scale. And I have caught a couple carp out of here before, so I just grazed off a carp. And if that scale, if it would have hit him differently, that bait would have. So let me finish what I was talking about. See how I don't really leave, because I've got that. See how that rod's loading up? Like, this is almost overloading this rod, but it's a solid tipped rod, so I don't have that fear. But if that would have caught that fish the right way, instead of that scale getting hooked and yanking out of him, I could have had that carp hooked. We would have had a fight. I thought I felt like it hit something, but it was moving whatever I hit, like for a split second. I didn't even feel that. The blade was still turning. That thing was just dragging extra weight. That was funny. Well, we had a taste of a fish. Where was that carp at? He's probably spooked off by now. He's like, oh, something got me. And this is the tip. It's the light tip off the Toma, the one that had the handle. I put a different handle on with the all metal reel seat that looks real cool, but the handle was like touched too short. When I grab it, it was way up here. I like this. I think the Toma handle still looks a touch better, but this fills and it also looks good. And with this Curado, it goes real good. And they kind of have this, I guess you could say they share the same capabilities on what they can and can't do. You can get down pretty light, but you don't want to go ultralight BFS fishing really with this setup. I mean, you could, but this is set up perfect for kind of what we're doing now. You're in that lighter stuff. All right, I'm gonna try one. I'm gonna see how slow. You guys can be able to tell. Now this is a high-speed reel, but I'm gonna cast one out here, and I'm gonna see how slow. Okay, this bait, I can't go real slow. That's about as slow as I can go, and I feel it start stopping. But that's probably because of that, the heavier the bait and that littler blade. Which this may be, and I'm also gonna, you can't really speed crank it either, I don't think. I think it comes up too quick. But we'll have to wait till the water warms up and we actually get some biting going on to see exactly how good this bait is. I'm getting ready to put the other one on now. But I like the feel. I mean, I feel it when I'm just, I can go slow, about that slow. I can still feel that bait blade turning. I have to try it. Doesn't really seem to jump around too much. It could be the trailer though. Let's just go to the actual, see if I can throw it. No, let's go with this guy, see if we can actually catch a fish. This guy's just known to catch a fish, right? Cold water. Now I can throw this with regular gear. You could probably throw the other one, but sometimes the distance you're going to get maybe lacking a little. So hopefully you can make out. Whoa! This, well, I have to try the hook sets, but man, this combo can fling what is a pretty lightweight chatterbaits. They're not that heavy. This is the 1/8 ounce with a big swim bait, so it's definitely heavier, but that other one is not that heavy at all, really. I'm gonna try this guy a little faster. And we're gonna throw him out by where those carp were out in the middle. And carp must just be out there sitting in the middle. Make sure I ain't gonna hit nothing behind me. So we're definitely like way out there with the heavier bait. We are definitely at the limitations on this, not the reel, the rod, as far as how heavy a bait you can throw with it. I wouldn't want to go really, I'm not even sure what that thing weighs combined, but I wouldn't want to go any heavier than that. All right, let's switch. Ooh, that thing's kind of, let me try that one more time. It kind of seemed like it was jumping around, which is a good thing. And that may be where that other littler bait will need to be, is on a, I felt, there is something right out that way. I felt another funk. There may be several carp just staged out there. Right out that way. I'm going to lose that spot. That's also a good idea if you're on the bank fishing and you think you got a hit, immediately look straight across to the other side and put something in between you, that you can tell what to cast to, basically, if you want to get the exact spot. So I don't know if you guys can make it out from here, but there's like a rockier spot than the rest of that over there, or it looks lighter, like it's more rock than it is trees or brush or dirt. So that's what I kind of immediately looked at, because I really wasn't paying attention on the carp when we caught the scale. I just knew it was out that way, but I think right out in there there's definitely something going on. It may have been a touch more to the left, but let's just not even go with this bait. Look at the different colors. That thing's got like purple and blue. That is a good just the whole setup. I like everything about that setup. I just wish the water was warmer. Now that ain't the one. Let's take, now I hardly ever catch anything, but since this is heavier, I'm not gonna put a trailer on it for right now. I just want to see how well this casts it. This is probably the first and last time you'll see this size bait being thrown on this rod. Maybe not. Oh, wow. Instantly, like, went to a whole different level of jerk, you guys will see here, of shake. If you guys can make out the rod tip shaking even more. If you guys can make it out, I'll stop it. And it seems like, I mean, it starts right up. You guys have heard them talk about the jackhammers starting right up. This bait definitely, it's got, like, look at that one. I'm going a little bit faster. Oh, there's something. Something came out from the bank. Get out there. swimming, still swimming out over there, whatever it was. I'm gonna cast this one right along the bank. I'm trying to snag something. If they won't hit it, I'll snag them. I don't want to lose this bait, but it was only $2.50. So these are nothing like a jackhammer as far as you're not going to have issues or be scared of, you know, losing your $15 bait. $2.50. You can bet I'll probably be throwing this in and around places I would be leery of throwing a jackhammer. Even though if you watched in the other or videos, you've seen me chase after a $2 bait like it was a $10 bait. That's just me. Now we did come across, I went across that too. There's a little piece of stick or something out there. All right, let's put a little zing zing in it. That is a long cast. This whole area is dead. Saw a couple things moving. Do you guys see the whole rod shaking? Like, that's why, one of the reasons why you don't really want to throw like a normal size chatterbait with those bigger blades. You want to on it like that is best on a, even though it's got a smaller hook, on a definitely a medium to medium heavy for sure. Most guys will throw it on a medium heavy. I'm just kind of was trying it out. I'm going to change back just because I want to get a little more time with it to this dude. But yeah, I think these are legit. Just the feel of it so far. The startup, I mean, I haven't seen anything wrong with it so far. One thing is we gotta watch rust. Some of this stuff is with cheap metal. You cannot let it set wet. You know, after you're done using it, it needs to be dried fairly quick, or some of this cheaper metal will rust real quick, is a downside to some stuff. But like even your cheaper oh, look at that. Let's see if we can get one. Even I've noticed the flashbacks will, you got to be careful, they'll rust to where I've usually not had that problem with other Z-Man chatterbaits. But the smaller ones, even the micros and minis, they're, I don't want to say cheaper made, but I don't think they're quite the quality of even the Z-Man original, or definitely not the customs or the jackhammers as far as will they rust or not. Okay, we're going to go to where the shallowest spot is and try chatterbaits. Yep, the ducks love me too. I like this setup though so far. It's a touch on the soft side for like it's definitely way softer of a setup than the Kang, the Teton 661 light, or 2 for that matter. But that rod would be perfect for this size. All the chatterbaits I'm throwing right now would be perfect, and this reel is a perfect reel for what we're doing right now. This rod is just on the touch on the light side. It'd be probably better for like those 6 gram crankbaits and stuff like that. Once you get into these bigger, even the eighth ounce chatterbaits with a bigger trailer on them, it's probably, most of you would think it's kind of loading it up a lot, but it does cast it real far. We'll just have to see on hookups. One more cast with this dude, put a little zing into that. It definitely is, flings them out there. Okay, let's try. Whoa! And I lost my bait. That's what you get for trying and talking up your P-line original. Well, since that line breaking was like an omen, telling me we need to do sort of a shootout kind of a thing, right? So, since I took the BFS XG off this rod, which it actually goes very well with, right? Like it looks good on it. But also this Curado, that green, and I'm going to get it out in the sun and show you here in a minute. If any of my other reels that are like a low profile, I guess, would be okay on here, it would be the Curado. So it's definitely a lighter, more palmable setup, and we're going to go out and we're just going to compare by throwing our lightest bait we had, and if we're going to go the same spot where I threw this with the Curado, or with the Calcutta BFS with the chameleon spool, and we're trying just to stock Curado to see where it goes. And then we're probably we'll test from the lightest thing we got out today to the heaviest, so like 2 grams roughly to 6 grams. And what I'm thinking should happen, this may struggle a little bit, the Curado with it, but then this, you shouldn't hardly be able to tell the difference. So buckle up one more time and let's go test, shoot out everything else. We lost one soldier, if you guys are just now joining in for whatever reason. The one soldier down. I do have enough stuff at home to make that exact setup probably 2 or 3 times over. But anyway, let's go. Okay, we're coming up, and I definitely didn't put this guy in my pocket. He's prone to hooking you. So I'm going to put him right behind us somewhere. Let's see what the Curado does with this little bait. Actually, it throws it fine too. So 2 grams. All right, let me put, I was a little leery. Let me put a little more into it, see what we can do. So yeah, probably identical. Might take a little bit more to get it, but that is a huge difference in weight. That Curado spool, if you guys remember right, weighs like 9.1. Mine is heavier than what they're supposed to be, and the chameleon is, what is it, like 4, 3, 8, 9, 4 grams. I can feel a little bit, like when I do the sidearm like I just did there, it definitely pulled it a little bit more towards the bank than the Conquest chameleon spool did. I could tell I kind of had the same, I felt like this, oh yeah, like right there. So yeah, that's where I can, like the overall overhand casting, I couldn't really tell, but like right there, I'm gonna have to, you're a little leery on where you let go because it does drag just a little bit. But not, you know, once you got used to it, like it's definitely not a, you can't, it's not like you can't come out and fish this setup like right here. Well, maybe not. Hang on. That would have been bad. Let me try that again. Yeah, just once you get used to where your release point is, but there's definitely a little bit more of an issue with that chameleon spool. I didn't really have that. Once if you remember right, I loosened it a little bit, and I was coming out here and whipping this just a little bit freer and easier. But overall casting is not bad with this. And I'll be honest, this is one of the smallest stuff, you know, things. At 1.7 to 2 grams, that's the smallest stuff I throw. So this Curado will do that. I could actually do it. May not be able to do it as easy, but I could go down into the little creeks and streams, actual true ultralight. I like that setting. There's no backlashing. I don't know why that crazy backlash happened earlier. I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know my own strength and I just threw a little too hard. If you remember right, we lost the big chatterbait because I reared back, and when I cast it, it just backlashed. But look at this. I have not changed the braking or nothing. And if anything, the wind blowing, I had the wind at my back, so there was no way the wind caught it. Oh well, but we're going to switch now because I don't think our testing's done. This Curado BFS is actually very impressive for as heavy as a spool as it has. I can guarantee you that no other, pretty much no other reel with a spool this heavy can keep up with this spool. Now, I can't remember what Daiwa or what, but I don't think Daiwa has any dog in the fight when it comes to like a 9-gram spool that was made for BFS. Hopefully we don't backlash this thing and throw it off. So I'm gonna put this on now, and I'm gonna try. That is way too shallow. This is not deep over here. I don't think this whole pond is very deep. I'm gonna try to get one out here where our, if you guys remember right, I told you guys like have a guideline so you know roughly what to aim for or throw at. That thing was twirling. Oh, it's caught up. Ooh, topwater. Don't do that. If you see your bait twirling like that, try to pop it back to you to prevent line twists. Instead of, I went way too far being crazy, but if you see it foul hooked and it's wanting to do a twirly bird on you, if you can, it comes to the surface, try to pop it back to you to keep it from twirling as much as you can. There we go. I really think this little rod is also capable of casting pretty far too, with up to what this is 6-gram bait. I'm trying to snag a carp and make this thing a lot of fun. Probably just peel all the line off, nothing I can do, but never know. It may have moved. Yeah, look, that's how loose I got the drag every time I yank. Yeah, this Curado feels best at like these 4 to 6 gram or even a little higher. It's throwing that too, but it definitely feels better. Let's see. I think this little, I'm impressed by both these things right here. Can't say I'm impressed by the chameleon spools because they're so light, but I feel like they should just blow everything else out of the water. And it's not that they fish bad, it's just as light as they are. But this rod, as you can tell, I'm kind of abusing it, but hopefully it holds up like the Tettons did. And I can't recommend it right now because it's a $200 rod off AliExpress, but if you see me fishing this next year, I'll probably be recommending it because it probably means it did go through a pretty good abuse of being fished. And it definitely, I like the overall how it looks, how it works, sensitivity of it, the action of it. I like all of that. It's a durability thing now. You know, is it a blank that just can't handle? Because, you know, me for sure, and most fishermen are, you know, we're not really the most subtle on our gear typically. You know what? I have not been on that side. We've been up there with chatterbaits. I was kind of right over in that area. And this thing is almost too steep. I'm going to try to hold the rod tip way up. I think I'm digging in too much. I think if I almost think I need like probably need one of them little bitty guys. And I didn't even bring him the little like 4-gram square bills. I'm gonna try to slow down. I almost think we're beat as far as actually getting a hit. I may accidentally snag a fish, but yeah, it keeps getting gunked up. Let's throw one right over to the edge. I threw that way too hard and down, but the water looks so good. Like, I like it when it's murky like this, but you can see, like, I can see down 1.5 feet, maybe 2. But I kind of like that murky, especially when I got a bait that I know that works good in that murkier water like this bait. It's just it's so cold. If we were in 55 degrees or warmer, I would definitely probably have caught a fish or two out of this place. Typically you only get a few out of here, little bass. I don't think I've caught anything big ever. Oh, I'm gonna try that right along the edge of that grass line, weed line, whatever line that is. I feel if I could get it out, which I don't have a deep enough space. I'm gonna try to hold the rod tip up. Oh, I almost backlashed that. I'm gonna hold the rod tip up. Do about as much of a speed cranking as I can, because this bottom's way too gunky to be bouncing off the bottom. Yeah, once you do truthfully hit the bottom, it's like game over. Too silty. This thing's so old, hasn't had anything done to it. And I guess technically I should go up just a click, because what happened over there and what I just heard now, it started to backlash. When I really put a little more into it than a good hard cast, it starts to overload, which can be fixed by going just a click, but then you lose a little bit of distance on your normal casting. So I'm gonna leave it alone for now. And this reel will probably get, it's got 10-pound, it was 120 foot of 10-pound braid and a 6-pound leader right now, but it's probably going to get a 10-pound leader, whether it be on that other rod, and I'm still not 100% sure which rod. Now if I were to leave it on this, I'd put 6-pound probably to a 4 to 6-pound leader, one of the two, then just leave the drag loose. As you can hear, I've got both drags pretty loose. I would guess that they'll slip before 4-pound would break, somewhere right in that area. Okay, I'm gonna put a wraps on this video. I'm not done. You know the deal. I always put an outro together, then I still do a little you always see me, I'm never done. Like I don't know if I'll stay till dark. My fingers are a little, it's nice out, but it's still kind of cold weather, and that sun's gonna go down pretty quick. But let's just talk about what we've accomplished with this test session. We didn't catch any fish. We almost had a carp, but I'm gonna go back out. And you see I've switched them back now, because I'll be honest, I thought there was a possibility that I could replace the Calcutta Conquest cheaply by putting a Curado on this setup, just basically based off because the color is green, and it does go on there and it works pretty good. But man, I did that and it was okay. But there's just something about this combo put together that says class. I know I'm not classy, but I'm saying this says. And there's also like these kind of combos you put together. There's like the working man's combo, right? No matter BFS, regular gear, whatever, you got just a built tough reel on a cheap rod, but it gets the job done. That's a $20 rod, 175 I think is what I finally gave for. I think they're 190 here in the States, but gets the job done, very capable. Then this is your kind of finessey. You don't really need anything this fancy or snazzy, you just don't, for fishing, but it's out there. There's people will spend a ton of money on it, and I spend a ton. But I have what do I have, $350? Well, yeah, I've got a ton of money in this little low combo right here. I gave $200 for the rod, $3 for the reel, $55 or $4 whatever for the spool. I do have a different stuff here, which is $20 for that thing. So yeah, I got a little chunk of money there. But what's funny is I've got my most expensive setup right here that I have with me right now anyway. You add the MGL 30 on the NRX rod. it's more expensive than this combo. I've got a sacrificial bait I want to talk about as we get out of here before we talk about what we found out so far. If you remember, I got snagged up with this guy. I'm still going to throw him, but I'm going to be a little more ginger, a little more careful on where I throw him. I don't want to lose that $2 bait. I'm tight, right? I want to save my money so I can afford $300 reels. But this is kind of my sacrificial bait. You can get these heads at Bass Pro Shops pretty cheap. You can buy a whole bundle of them. That's the Meredith Baits swim thing. There's probably not, I don't think there's $1 there. And I got it tied directly on because I lost one of my snaps. I didn't bring another one. This is just a quick little test session after work. So if I lose that, it's not a huge deal, right? So I'm gonna, we're going over where it's kind of brushy. I'm not gonna like jig it down right in the brush since it's exposed, but I will throw that in a little more places, points of no return type places where I might not, and not so much this bait. I'll probably do him the same way, but that's why I was talking about these baits. You're more likely, in my opinion, to catch fish because you're more likely to throw your cheaper baits into places where you may go, oh, I don't know if I want to fish my jackhammer there, this and that. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I know it's always in the back of my mind, how much I gave for a bait and how crazy I am with throwing it. So what we found out, and if I do catch anything or anything spectacular happens, it'll be tagged on in this video. But I'm going to go out with both these rod and reels. I'm going to walk them around. I'm going to go that far side that I haven't fished yet and just fish for a while until I am tired of fishing. But we found out that I think I'm going to like these baits. They feel pretty good. They do not have any kind of great startup, and you can't fish them real slow like you can Z-Man chatterbaits. But they do feel pretty good. I like the way they vibrate. It feels decent. And it's just going to have to be fish them and see if we catch a fish. And if I fish them and I seem like they're just not getting hit right, the first thing I will do before I discard them completely is I will do away with that skirt, and I'll fish them like you guys might remember the bait we did lose today, the 1/8 ounce micro chatterbaits. I'll put a trailer, something like that, or a regular swim bait, or even a little crawls or something, and fish them what I call naked with no skirt and try them out before I give up on them. Now this bait I will leave like that, and I will definitely put a trailer on. I was just giving it a shot today, but it definitely starts right up. Like, I cannot tell the difference. I wasn't comparing it side by side today with the jackhammer, but trust me, I've fished all these different chatterbaits over the years. This feels good. Starts right up, can go real slow, can stop it as soon as you pick it back up. It starts right up, so it feels good. Now, will it be prone to rust? How long will the hook stay sharp, and just how well does it get bit? Does it actually feel the same, or attract a fish in the same way that all of your Z-Man baits I feel do, your Z-Man chatterbaits do? So we're still up in there about that, but so far I like all of our new baits we've tried out. And this combo I really do like. I like this reel and I like this rod, but I'll be honest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I thought I would like this is a little softer than the Toma, so I put the Toma tip on it thinking I have more of a actual light, more for cranks, but I think it's a little too soft for me. I think I'm gonna go back with the Toma and the Toma tip. And then this rod, if you remember, I got a 6'6". That other rod that is, I told you all these different tips will interchange. Actually, even the the Cast King Zephyr and the Rock and Roll, those tips can interchange. They don't go with this because they're such a different color. But I think the same company making all these makes all of them. But I'm going to take that 6'6", and I'm actually going to cut that tip down to make it feel more like maybe a heavy ultralight or a light, right? And that's what I will be fishing with this handle assembly. I'm not sure if I'll stick with the Curado with that. Possibility. Depends on how it feels compared to what this feels like, but the Curado feels good on here right now. I just wish this thing had, and I think it does with the Toma. If you guys remember, I've caught the fish with the I've caught several fish already, but when I was fishing the mini Whopper Plopper, was basically this setup with the Toma handle, which is a little, the bottom half is just a touch stiffer than this thing, and I think I like that feeling better. So it's going back on there, probably with the lingle, the gringle. Possibility though, the gringle may go on this rod when I get done, and then this Curado is still kind of a floater. I still haven't figured out for sure. I like it on this right here, but I don't know yet. So anyway, we haven't figured that out for sure, other than I know I want to switch my tips back around and do a little more work there, but this combo isn't going anywhere. I was just kind of wondering, you know, how would it, because I don't like any other reel on this rod than this one right here, but we've got a winner right there for sure. Feels good all the way around. So anyway, I know I got long-winded. So anyway, get out, go bass and bonsai. Be looking forward to these kind of videos, live streams, all kinds of videos, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Get out and get you some. And whatever you buy, make sure you're going to have fun after you get it. You'd be surprised, a lot of times when the wind's blowing in this hard. This is a kind of scenario where that time Noah skunked me. He was throwing a TRD right up, you know, within about a foot. Now it was against rock. This is a bunch of gunk. You can only get so close. But he caught 7 or 8 little bass, like every cast. Kind of like this little right here, like what I'm doing. All right, let's switch. Let's just see how this thing, now this thing should cast fine. If you do have one of these, I suggest you plop that down. Yeah, this thing should, no, oh, I got to get that switched. Should cast this no problem. I can already tell you that this, even though the Curado I think is metal, the frame is metal, it's painted, and this being bare metal, as it's starting to get a little colder, I feel that like crazy. Feel it ticking off the bottom. I don't think we're going to get any hits today. Something tells me no fish today. Why am I still fishing, right? That's just nice to be out. Feel it bouncing off stuff. I like the sensitivity, I think, so far on this rod. I could feel it. Like you feel the thud. It's such a, I'm not sure how great a quality the blank is. I mean, I'm sure it's not bad, but just the rod is so, it's like thin and light. Like it, you can feel it. Come on. Get on there. Just one fish would be nice. Right up, oh, that was good, right up against it. Now this bait's fairly heavy because it weighs an 1/8 ounce jig head with that. Oh, you're gonna say we're gonna have to sacrifice it, but it's probably in that 4 gram range, I would imagine, which is probably what you'll see me throwing a lot, 2 to 4 grams with this thing. Except you never know. Sometimes way out, let's come back slow. That's already on bottom. I can feel it. This place is shallow, shallow. Guess what? Shallow. Let's throw the crankbait some more real quick. Real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of here because it's starting to get cold in this wind. I got my coat, but guess where it's at? Yep, you guessed it, up at the truck with everything else. But it's not really me that ever gets too cold, it's right here, the hands. The hands get too funky and it's game over. I just love square bills, crankbaits in general, but square bills mainly, because They are so good and do so much better than most other baits. Getting through wood, just less fear of losing them. Oh, I thought I had a fish. Do I have a fish? I got a fish. I got a fish. It's running me under. I got a fish. I did not expect that. I got a nice fish. I got a nice fish. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. I was not expecting that bass. I had all but given up hope, and it felt it. I'm like, wait. Geez, that is a nice chunk. Told you guys about this bait. Don't come off. Get over here. Get over here. Oh, he's barely hooked. Open his mouth. He won't open his mouth. Uh-oh, he's gonna come off. Oh my God. Look at that. That is a fat 2-pounder, if anything. The power of this bait, boys and girls, I'm telling you. Yes, yes, yes. Maybe I'll leave it on this. Look at that fat. That is a huge bass. Oh my God. Guess where my phone is? In the truck. Oh well. Let's get a shot of this right here for us. I'll get it off this right here. Well, maybe. Let's see. Let's get a shot. Right. Let's get that shot. Did you guys see that? That is insane. Mwah. Let me give it a kiss. Hang on. Let me set my rod down. It's stuck on my finger. Let's get this shot. GoPro's about ready to go dead. That water, yeah, is cold. That fish is lively. Think we got a jumper? Well, let him swim off. That was awesome. All right, guys, get out of here for real this time. Whew. My hands are getting cold. Am I leaving? No, not yet. But we may not do that again, but we're going to give it a shot. Thanks for watching.